Tonight on NewsWatch, gender-based abortion here in the U.S., how some lawmakers are working to end the practice.
Plus, the Catholic Church's search for its new leader, the latest on the process of finding the new pope.
And we'll show you how the Bible comes to life in a new television show. All this and more tonight on NewsWatch. Gender-selective abortions happening right here in America. Good evening. I'm Mark Martin.
And I'm Lori Johnson. Right now in the United States, it is legal to abort a baby on the basis of sex.
A bill outlawing the practice failed in the House last year, but as Heather Sells reports in tonight's top story, there's a movement to ban it on the state level.
For years, it was unthinkable that society would tolerate so-called designer babies or the move towards gender-based abortion. Now, evidence shows some U.S. couples are making that choice. In some cases, cultural attitudes are a factor. An analysis of the 2000 census shows that families of Chinese, Korean, and Indian descent are more likely to have a boy if their first child is a girl, and even more likely if their first two children are girls. The conclusion: these families want boys so much that they will use in vitro fertilization or abortion to get what they want. The desire to choose gender is also playing out at this clinic, which selects embryos on the basis of sex. Pro-lifers fear this could lead towards more acceptance of using gender as a reason for abortion.
We're approaching the era of designer babies, where everybody wants what they consider to be the perfect child or the perfect family.
Dr. Stephen Mosher has fought this mindset for more than 30 years.
This is the worst form of discrimination possible. We're not talking about discrimination in pay or job or benefits. We're talking about a discrimination that kills.
That argument has led Illinois, Pennsylvania, Oklahoma, and Arizona to ban the practice. And now lawmakers in 8 other states are considering bills that would forbid abortions solely on the basis of sex. In Washington, Congressman Trent Franks wants to revisit a bill that would do the same. He acknowledges the stakes are high, not only for protecting the unborn, but because such a law could challenge Roe v. Wade.
If this legislation passes, it sets up a profound conflict with Roe v. Wade. Because if it's all right to protect a child from being aborted because of the wrong sex, that's an equal protection issue. If we protect one group of children, then it really removes any excuse for not protecting them all.
So far, pro-choice groups have bypassed the equality debate, arguing instead that banning gender-based abortion attacks a woman's right to choose. Heather Sells, CBN News.
Joining us now is Tom McCluskey. He is the Vice President for Government Affairs at the Family Research Council. Tom, when most people think about gender-selective abortion, they probably think about other places in the world. How big of an issue is it right here in America?
Well, you're right about it being an international problem. And we're probably, demographically, we've lost about 200 million women over the years internationally. Here in the United States, we've lost thousands of women because of the sex selection abortion, some of it cultural, some of it not.
A number of states are moving forward to ban gender-based abortion, but why is it such an uphill climb on the federal level?
Well, unfortunately, and this was all started even in the states by Congressman Franks, who after he introduced his bill in his home state of Arizona, he helped that get passed in the state legislature. It's just a matter of, even if it passes the House of Representatives, which done in regular order, it could very easily, you have a more pro-abortion Senate, and the president himself has come out against the legislation that would reduce the number of sex selection abortions.
Well, it seems like an obvious explanation, but break it down for us. Explain why America needs legislation outlawing sex-selective abortions.
Well, a lot of it, and Congressman Franks really, I think, touched the button on it. It shows the hypocrisy of abortion. Last week, there was an ill-named bill passed called the Violence Against Women Act. Here, though, you have 2 female victims, both the mother and the child. Nothing should be more important than us trying to protect these women, yet the legislation, especially on the federal level, is as I said, at a standstill.
All right, Tom McCluskey, the Vice President of Government Affairs for the Family Research Council. Thank you, Tom, for your time today.
Thank you.
Scientists say a baby born with the AIDS virus has been cured after an aggressive treatment of drugs. The child and her HIV-infected mother were treated at Jackson Medical Center in Mississippi. Doctors prescribed 3 different medications to fight the disease, but then lost track of the mother and child for a whole year. When they finally found them, they discovered the mother had stopped giving her child the medications. They also found that the girl, who is now 2.5, remained healthy without the meds. The early intervention appears to have knocked the virus out of the baby's blood.
We have, perhaps inadvertently, but in fact, cured the child.
If the child remains healthy, it would mark only the world's 2nd reported medical cure of HIV.
Amazing. Well, in other news, Roman Catholic cardinals from around the world have gathered at the Vatican. They're meeting to choose the successor to Pope Benedict, who resigned last week. John Waggy has that story.
The cardinals began arriving for the first meetings ahead of the papal conclave just hours after Pope Benedict became the first pontiff in 600 years to resign rather than die in office. The finality is reflected in the Pope's Twitter page, where Benedict's picture has been removed and his tweets deleted. Monday's meeting opened with prayer, and each cardinal took an oath of secrecy, pledging to keep quiet about matters related to the election of the next pope. But outside, an international media horde follows the cardinals, giving it some of the trappings of a political campaign. Campaigning on the part of those considered to be frontrunners is strictly forbidden, and the 115 cardinals who will choose the new pope know the nature of their task.
And this is a spiritual act in which we are supposed to, or we are obliged to, elect the new pope.
La Iglesia está dispuesta para cualquier papa.
Spanish Cardinal Carlos Amigo Vallejo says, in the church, you don't have nationalities, you don't have colors or parties. Any bishop, a baptized Christian, will be perfectly accepted in the church. 11 American cardinals make up the 2nd largest group of all the nations, and most will be casting their first papal ballot.
I would be looking for someone who has that vision and that energy to say, this is what I want to do with this pontificate.
Like a pastor in a parish, you know, when you have somebody who basically connects with people.
The date for electing a pope wasn't determined Monday because a handful of cardinals have yet to arrive. Meanwhile, a tailor's shop in Rome is displaying the white vestments ready for the new pope to wear when he is chosen. John Waggy, CBN News.
2 top Republican senators are warning they may oppose the president's pick to head the CIA. Lindsey Graham and John McCain say they want answers from the Obama administration over the tragedy in Benghazi, Libya. Graham said Sunday he and McCain are hell-bent, as he put it, on making sure the American people understand how 4 Americans could have been murdered at the U.S. consulate in Libya last September. The Senate Intelligence Committee is scheduled to vote early this week on John Brennan's nomination for CIA director. President Obama has named 3 more cabinet nominees to round out his 2nd term. He announced today the nomination of EPA veteran Gina McCarthy to head the Environmental Protection Agency. He chose MIT scientist Ernest Moniz to lead the Energy Department and nominated the head of Walmart's philanthropic wing, Sylvia Matthews Burwell, as his next budget chief. All 3 of the president's nominees will require Senate confirmation.
The sequester budget cuts are in effect, and yet after months of dire warnings, Washington is still functioning. Some politicians are admitting that for now, no one's feeling much pain, but both parties vow to look at ways to end the automatic cuts, and many government workers wonder if tough times are just around the corner. 27-year-old Maria Njoku is a civilian Defense Department employee. She's preparing for the worst.
I do live paycheck to paycheck.
In late March, furlough notices for Department of Defense civilian employees go out. Maria is one of possibly 750,000 civilian Pentagon employees who could be forced to rethink their spending because of sequestration. In addition, the Transportation Security Administration and Customs and Border Protection agencies, which are part of the Homeland Security Department, are issuing furlough notices and have cut overtime for employees. In April, the FAA furlough notices go out. Both parties continue to blame the other for the automatic spending cuts that hit on March 1st. But the $85 billion across-the-board cuts may be the wake-up call Washington needed. Republican and Democratic leaders pledged to undo the cuts to avoid a fiscal crisis. The White House signaled it might be ready to explore a compromise. President Obama raised the issue of cutting entitlements like Medicare and Social Security as a way out of the budget cuts.
Well, I'll tell you this. He's reaching out to Democrats who understand we have to make serious progress on long-term entitlement reform, and Republicans who realize that if we have that type of entitlement reform, they'd be willing to have tax reform that raises revenues to lower the deficit.
Republicans have long argued that entitlement reform is the best way to tackle the budget deficits long-term.
What I would like to see happen is that the president and Republicans and Democrats re-engage where they left off with the Boehner, that we as Republicans put $600 billion, somewhere in that neighborhood, of new revenue on the table by flattening the tax code, eliminating deductions and exemptions, take that money to pay down debt and lower rates, and we go to where the real money is over time, entitlement reform, to save us from becoming Greece.
Now, all of this comes ahead of a new March 27th deadline that could mean a government shutdown and then in May, a debt ceiling battle. If no alternative is found for the cuts that are now in place, the $85 billion in spending cuts must be carried out by September 30th, the end of the fiscal year.
Coming up, we go to Jerusalem, where folks laced up their running shoes for the city's 3rd annual marathon.
CBNNews.com. News you want, when you want, 24/7. Stay current with up-to-the-minute stories.
Efrem Graham, CBN News, New York.
I don't have to wait for my news anymore. CBNNews.com, at your fingertips all day long.
I only watch the stories I want to see.
I find the story, I click on it, and boom, I'm there.
Embassy in Washington, Eric Stakelbeck, CBN News.
The source for your news, CBNNews.com.
Ow, my feet hurt. My feet hurt, your feet hurt. White hot pain, I wanna cry. Is there anything I can try?
Why, yes. Introducing Strut Soul Angels, the human shock absorber that helps alleviate foot pain.
The first 10 steps in the morning to the bathroom were excruciating. Within 3 days after I put Struts on, it's been such a relief.
Slipped it on and almost immediately I felt a support, kind of like a pillow underneath my arches.
The Struts Soul Angel provides a great amount of relief and support throughout the course of the day, providing shock absorption and relief of pain.
On your feet without proper support can be painful. Strut Soul Angels promotes better balance, control, and body alignment. Standing in your heels all day is painful, but slip on Struts and you'll enjoy comfort and support 24/7. Struts is so versatile, you'll wear them in every shoe you own, even barefoot.
I'm on my feet all the time. I teach 11 and 12-year-olds. The pain was so much that I knew I had to do something. And with the Struts, I can do my job and enjoy my job.
I usually am on my feet from 8 to 12 hours a day. When I wear my Struts, it's like giving my feet a hug all day.
It's life-changing. I wear them from the minute I get up to the minute I go to bed.
Why pay $400 for custom orthotics?
Now get Strut Soul Angels for just $10. You also get Miracle Foot Repair Cream, absolutely free. Use it to help relieve dry, callous feet overnight. But wait, call right now and we'll double the offer free. Just pay separate processing and handling. Plus, you get a 100% money-back guarantee. If not completely delighted, send it back. But keep the foot cream as our gift just for trying. You get it all. A $70 value for just $10.
Oh, yes! Love my Struts, love my Struts. The best thing since sliced bread. They heal pain from toes to head. Get yours now, your doctor said.
Struts. Be nice to your feet. Call now.
Call 1-800-787-1580 and get your Struts and Miracle Foot Repair for just $10 and we'll double the offer. That's 1-800-787-1580 or visit getstruts.com.
Welcome back. Thousands of pro-Israel supporters are gathering in the nation's capital this week. Democrat and Republican leaders from all states are discussing Israel's future. Talks center around expanding the U.S.-Israel partnership, as well as Iran's growing nuclear threat. Vice President Joe Biden said no president has done more to secure the state of Israel than President Obama.
That's why from the moment the president took office, he has acted swiftly and decisively to make clear to the whole world and to Israel that even as circumstances have changed, one thing has not: our deep commitment to the security of the State of Israel. That has not changed.
The American Israel Public Affairs Committee is the largest annual gathering of the pro-Israel movement.
Thousands took to the streets of Jerusalem recently, not for protesting, but racing. John Waggy has more on the Jerusalem Marathon.
It was a chilly morning, but that didn't stop athletes from running in the 3rd annual Jerusalem Marathon.
Our first marathon.
Jerusalem Mayor Nir Barkat also takes part.
We have a wonderful event, very special. The city is looking forward to see so many runners, 20,000 runners in Jerusalem, and we're very excited.
He says 3,000 years of history makes this event unique.
It goes in the old city, out the old city. You see the beautiful sights of Jerusalem. Most people come not only for the running event, but also to spend some time in Jerusalem.
Almost 2,000 runners from 52 nations joined 18,000 Israelis for the race.
And here is the nicest place to run. It's a combination of many different things, and it makes it very nice.
I run in Berlin, I run in Cologne, all over Germany, all in Germany, but not in such an exciting and historical scene like here.
And at one point, some unexpected visitors joined in the fun. The Bible says Jerusalem is like a city set on a hill, which adds to the challenge.
It's a great course. It's tough. It's hilly, very hilly, but the course is beautiful. It's like going through a tourist bus.
And some ran with a message.
I thought about running with a message, and I love God is love.
We are a big group from Hungary. We would like to support Israel, that Jerusalem is the only undividable capital city of Israel.
And others?
Because it's Jerusalem. Because it's a half marathon in Jerusalem.
This is where, God came to the world. To run a marathon here, especially through the old city, it's beyond our comprehension.
Barkat says the marathon helps broaden Jerusalem's appeal.
We have integration of spiritualism, sportive event, communal event. All that together makes the Jerusalem Marathon a unique experience.
He predicts this year's participants will go home as ambassadors for Israel and return to run the streets of Jerusalem in the years to come. John Waggy, CBN News.
Up next, a television event thousands of years in the making. An inside look at the epic miniseries, The Bible.
Listen up for an amazing offer that can change the way you hear.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Can you repeat that?
Frustrated with your hearing?
What did he say?
Well, hear better now. Introducing the fully rechargeable MSA 30X, a revolutionary device that features the latest microsound amplification technology that can barely be seen. Independently tested to help you hear up to 30 times better. It turns ordinary hearing into extraordinary hearing. MSA 30X works by capturing and amplifying sound waves, yet its lightweight ergoacoustic design is discreet. It form-fits in and around either ear.
I forget I'm even wearing it.
And MSA 30X is powerful. Hear clearly in restaurants. Never miss another word on TV or at the movies.
My wife complains that I have the volume up on the TV too loud.
And I didn't want to be in the same room with them.
Now I can hear everything clearly.
Simply adjust the volume as you desire. Other units use so many batteries and they're difficult to change. But the MSA 30X is completely rechargeable. Simply plug it into the wall.
I tried other devices that had batteries, but they were always such a pain to change and so costly. But this is rechargeable, so I figure I save hundreds a year.
Bulky sound amplifiers can cost hundreds, but try MSA 30X for just $59.95 and we'll include a cleaning brush and 5 comfort tips. But wait, discount. In this special TV offer, we'll cut the price in half. Now you can hear up to 30 times better for just $29.95. But there's even more. We'll double the offer free. Just pay additional processing and handling. Wear them both or give one to a loved one. Did you hear that? That's 2 MSA 30Xs for just $29.95. The MSA 30X Hear Better Now offer. Get 2 for just $29.95.
All I can say is just try it. It could change your life.
To order the MSA 30X sound amplifier, call 1-800-535-0654. That's 1-800-535-0654. Or you can go to MSA30X.com. Call or go online now.
The Bible has become a hot topic online in the last 24 hours. It's been trending on Twitter and one of the most popular searches on Google.
That after the premiere of a television show of the same name on the History Channel.
The 10-hour miniseries is a project by reality TV producer Mark Burnett and his wife, actress Roma Downey. They say the Bible is their most important work.
Remember me by doing this. I'm going to the Father, but I will always be with you.
Hollywood couple Mark Burnett and Roma Downey have joined forces with the History Channel to create an epic 10-hour miniseries called The Bible.
It's Jesus!
When you look at a project of this magnitude and this scope, how do you boil the Bible down into 10 hours? How do you do that?
It took us a couple of years, really, and we got the advice of many theologians and advisors and figured out that it should be a through-line narrative, God's love for all of us, Genesis through Revelation.
From the moment Adam and Eve fell from grace, we have been a people wanting to get back in connection with God. And that was one of the themes that we felt we really wanted to see through those Old Testament characters. We see each of them attempting connection and failing, attempting connection and failing. And so God so loved us that he sends Jesus for us. And our New Testament narrative begins with the birth of Jesus, who comes and brings us home. And so that was the connective love story that we wanted to tell. We only had 10 hours, so we had to condense the stories. It ended up really, it's more of an introduction to the Bible.
In tackling a production of this magnitude, great care was taken to make the finished product look and feel authentic.
We went to Ouazzazate, which is about 3 or 4 hours drive down over the Atlas Mountains out to the edge of the Sahara. And we chose this location because it allowed us to achieve these beautiful biblical landscapes.
There's nowhere to replace some of those epic Casbahs, which look like they belong, and probably do belong, 2,000 years ago.
We want to make the Bible come to life with fresh visual imagery for this generation. So we gather to us just the best in the business. We have the best CGI, Oscar-winning team who created the special effects for Gladiator.
Portuguese actor Diogo Morgado plays the role of Jesus Christ. When you were approached about doing this role as a performer, as an actor, what went through your mind?
I think the first thought was, I can't do it. Honestly, it's like this is too much. You will all fall away. We're not just telling a story, you know. We're trying to touch people's hearts. We're telling a story that people live by. I grew up knowing the Bible. I grew up believing in Jesus Christ. So with the fact that my own faith and my own beliefs getting involved is like, how can I do someone that I know so well? what should we do? Should we go to the thing that people know about, or just sharing your own experience, you know? So I think I try to do it both a little bit.
It has begun. In their years of successful work in Hollywood, Mark and Roma say this project is one of the most powerful productions they've ever worked with.
It's human, it's connective, it's beautiful, and then through the whole thing is this heartbeat of faith, this heartbeat of God's love. The project was made to glorify God.
And you know, it really does. I watched it last night, and I know you did too.
I loved it.
Yeah, it really does glorify God, and it's neat how they make sure that the thread between the Old Testament and the New Testament, God with us through Jesus, is kept through each of the episodes.
It's so well done. The special effects, I can't wait until this next Sunday, the History Channel.
That's right. Well, up next, there's an app for that. How North Carolina cops used an iPhone to catch a car thief in action.
When you're driving along and your cell phone rings, do your eyes instantly go off the road? Then you need to get a grip. Hi, David Jones here with the new GripGo, the most versatile hands-free mount that will instantly grip any phone for safe driving. Just attach the suction cup to your windshield or dash, and GripGo grabs your phone ultra fast. That it peels right off. And don't worry, there's no sticky residue left behind. The 360-degree pivoting mount allows you to always get the perfect viewing angle. It's even strong enough to grab and hold this expensive smartphone out the window. Yet it comes right off with ease. That's the advantage of GripGo. You can get the amazing GripGo with dashboard mount for only $14.95. We'll send you a second kit free. Just pay separate processing and handling. Get 2 complete GripGo systems for just $14.95.
To order GripGo for $14.95 plus processing and handling, call 1-800-709-5259 or order online at getgripgo.com.
John Mapes is 42. Mortgage, married, 2 great kids. He wants to protect his family with a $500,000 term life insurance policy. What do you think it'll cost him? $100 a month? 60? 40? Actually, none of the above. John can get a $500,000 policy from a highly rated insurer for under $25 a month. His secret? SelectQuote. SelectQuote is impartial. They'll search the pick of insurers like these to give you a choice of your best prices. SelectQuote has great savings on term life for women, too. John's wife, Carrie, can get a $500,000 policy for under $16 a month. SelectQuote has helped make term life insurance affordable for hundreds of thousands of people since 1985. How about you? Just call this number or visit SelectQuote.com.
For some, the GPS tracking device in iPhones can be an intrusion of privacy.
But for others, it's a godsend.
I thought my car was gone for sure.
A North Carolina man thought he would never see his vehicle and cell phone again. It was stolen by a thug whom Mitchell Dennison had met just days before. The thief had promised Mitchell a job, but instead stole his car, and that's when local police stepped in.
Now I believe it was set up the whole entire time. He typed my information into his thing and pulled the tracking device right up.
The officer was able to track down the car by Mitchell's cell phone, which was fortunately still inside, and the man was quickly arrested. And that is the advantage of technology.
Absolutely. That's all the time we have for this edition of NewsWatch.
Remember, you can email us your comments and questions at newswatch@cbn.com. Have a great night.